Hey guys, welcome back to my video. In today's video, I'm going to be collaborating with a bunch of awesome channels here in the manga community. And we're all going to be giving you 3 shonen manga recommendations. So, just to give you guys some ideas of what's out there and what you guys should be reading right now. Anyway, I'm thinking we should just get on to the next manga recommendations. So we'll hand it off to the next person right now.
Hey, whoa, that's weird. I've never been on this channel before. Hi, I'm Captain Ryan. Hey, how's it going? I've been asked to give you 3 shonen manga recommendations. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be honest, I actually had a really hard time coming up with these 3 recommendations. But here we go, let's do it anyways. All right, so starting with my first recommendation, I would like to recommend to you Judge by Yoshiki Tonogai. So Judge is a short series. It's only about 6 volumes long. It's a psychological horror slash thriller. It's about these 9 kids, and they're all thrown into this Saw style game. Also kind of like Among Us, where after a certain amount of time, they have to vote out one of the members of their group, and whoever they vote out dies. That's all I'm gonna tell you because it's such a fun read and such a wild ride. There's lots of plot twists and stuff that you wouldn't see coming. It's got great art, great characters. I really highly recommend it, and I know this isn't part of my 3 recommendations, but I also recommend the other stuff by Yoshiki Tonogai, most notably Doubt. It's some good stuff. So another shonen manga that I want to recommend is actually something that I'm currently reading. I haven't quite gotten to the end of that. When I was buying this manga, I only bought 8 volumes, not realizing that there was 10. The series I'm of course talking about is Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi. So this is like a dark fantasy. What is this? It's marketed as a horror manga, although I don't really think it is a horror manga. Basically, there's vampires. Like I said, I'm currently reading it, and I've got to say, I'm hooked on this series. One thing that stands out to me is that you can read it real fast. I think I read each volume of this in like 15 minutes. It took me no time at all to read this. You can read the whole series in like 2.5 hours. It's very good. I got sucked into the story. I really want to know what happens next. I just got to get those last 2 volumes. The art is actually stunning, and you can even just tell by these covers. Hold on, let me show you this cover. Oh, where is it? It's one of these. Check this cover out, man. What the heck? That's so cool. I highly recommend Happiness. You're gonna get a great story. You're gonna get great artwork. I recommend it, and I can't wait to finish it. Okay, so the last manga series I want to recommend is my all-time favorite series. And if you know me, you know what it's about to be. Hold on, I gotta get it. I am, of course, talking about One Punch Man. Lots of you have probably seen the anime for the show. It's very good, or at least the first season was. This story is amazing. If for some reason you don't know what it's about, it's basically about this guy named Saitama. He's a superhero who can destroy anything in one punch, as the title suggests. His superpower is that he is infinitely strong. There is no limit to his power. Now, you're probably wondering, if he can just kill anything in one punch, then how is there any suspense? How can you make an interesting story out of that? Listen, I don't know what kind of genius went on behind the scenes when making this, but it is interesting, and it's my favorite manga. The story relies heavily on lots of the side characters, and there are a lot of them, and they're all very interesting characters. And one of the highlights of this series is the insane artwork. Yusuke Murata is a genius. I highly recommend you check it out. Right now in English, there's 21 volumes. If you've seen season 1 of the anime and you want to pick up after that, you could start reading at volume 8. However, I do recommend you just read the whole thing because it is worth going back and rereading. So yeah, that's my 3 recommendations: Judge, Happiness, and One Punch Man. If you like shonen, you're gonna like these series. Thank you so much, NixoTypicaL, for having me on. But hold on, there's still more recommendations to be had. Just wait to hear the 3 recommendations this next guy has.
Yo, what up? Teebry here. I've been asked to recommend 3 different shonen series. And as mainly a Naruto YouTuber, you know I gotta start by hyping up that first. So for those of you living under a rock, Naruto is the story of a young ninja named Naruto Uzumaki. Sealed within Naruto's body is the Nine-Tailed Fox, a demon that once attacked his village, killing many people. Because this demon dwells within Naruto, he is hated and ostracized by the other villagers. The story follows Naruto as he works towards his dreams of overcoming the world's hatred and becoming the Hokage, the most powerful and respected ninja in the village. Along the way, honing his ninja skills, gaining friends, and battling powerful enemies that would challenge his ideals and seek to bring harm onto others. Naruto, to this day, is one of the most inspiring main characters that I've ever come across. Never faltering from his dreams or his ninja way, no matter what the cruel world of shinobi throws his way. But besides Naruto, there's also a large cast of amazing characters, all with their own unique troubles, abilities, and personalities. And to be honest, I consider it to be one of the best casts in shonen. If you like top tier villains, look no farther than Naruto. With characters like Orochimaru, Pain, and the Akatsuki, you will find yourself awestruck with how awesome and well written Naruto's antagonists are. Another major selling point that I always offer when talking about Naruto is the fights. Naruto's fights just have something special when compared to most shonen. There is usually a deeper level of strategy and mind games at play in Naruto's fights, and I would say that they are very unique compared to a lot of the more flashy combat that you might see in other series. Now, I could talk all day about Naruto, but just to sum it all up, Naruto is a series with a beautiful underdog story that will leave you in tears many times, amazing characters, powerful messages and life lessons, and incredible fights. If you've been debating whether or not you should start Naruto, I highly recommend you just do it. You won't regret it. Now, since I'm here repping Naruto, the second series I want to recommend is its successor, Boruto. Boruto is a series following the adventures of the next generation of ninja, and specifically Naruto's son, Boruto. Now, this series gets a lot of hate, and it's sort of developed a bit of a stigma for being a generally trash series, but I'm here to tell you that the rumors aren't all true. While admittedly the anime does have some issues, and the series as a whole might not perfectly capture the same feelings that Naruto did, I think the manga is actually really good. It's introduced a number of interesting characters, and it's expanding on the Naruto universe in ways I never would have thought, showing us how the ninja world has developed since Naruto's time and introducing new threats that we never thought existed. It's been pretty exciting as a Naruto fan, and it always leaves me wanting more at the end of each chapter. I want to include this in my recommendations because I feel like a lot of people hear that Boruto is trash and they don't give it a chance. I highly recommend reading the manga and forming your own opinion. You might just find that it isn't as bad as people say. Now I would like to recommend something a bit more obscure that I feel doesn't really get enough love, and that is Platinum End. Written by the creators of Death Note, Platinum End is a story with a very similar vibe to Death Note, following a suicidal boy named Mirai who ends up getting a guardian angel. This guardian angel grants Mirai the power to fly and shoot two kinds of arrows, one that makes people fall in love and another that kills people. Much like Death Note's Shinigami, the guardian angels cannot be seen by normal people. But Mirai isn't the only one. There are 12 other people chosen by these guardian angels to become god candidates. God is dying, and they have 999 days to choose the next god. In a story that plays out in a similar fashion to Death Note, Mirai and the other god candidates are plagued with questions of morality and the battle royale that is this god selection process. I think this series is severely underrated. Like I said, the questions of morality and what traits should be looked at when considering the next god are all very interesting. And as a huge fan of Death Note, it's hard to shake the feeling that this is its spiritual successor, feeling much like the world that Death Note takes place in, grounded in reality with the subtle supernatural elements and of course the mind games between the police, god candidates, and other characters. It's certainly an interesting ride. Not to mention, it was recently announced that Platinum End will be getting an anime, so it's the perfect time to hop aboard the Platinum End train. And that will do it for my 3 shonen recommendations.
Hey guys, Manga Unboxed here on NixoTypical's channel. Thank you so much for having me on the collab and inviting me. And like everyone else, I'm going to be giving you 3 shonen manga recommendations that I think personally are some of the highest quality shonen that I've read. And first off, I have Ronnie Kenshin. Ronnie Kenshin is a very good samurai shonen manga about a samurai who used to kill a lot of people and fight for what he thought was right, and then he realized that everybody was fighting for what they thought were right, and now he wants to kind of do good with his sword, and he wanders around as a Roroni and vows to not kill anyone. And this is just such a good manga. The action is great, the characters are great, and the story is just great, and I very, very, very much enjoyed this. Just keep in mind that the mangaka is a very bad person, so maybe try to pick it up used or even read scans. Just I think that this is a shonen manga that people should be experiencing more. Next up we have One Punch Man, and One Punch Man is such an awesome series. It's set in a world of heroes where monsters appear and they have to fight them, and they're all kind of ranked from I think D to S tier. And Saitama is a hero who has gotten so powerful that he can knock out any monster or villain with one punch. That's why it's called One Punch Man. And his kind of bored in life and looking for a thrill. And this manga is just amazing. It has great fights, some of the best fights. The volumes are very quick. It has great characters. It just has everything. The art is some of the best art I've seen in manga. It's going about 21-ish volumes, and I just highly recommend this to any shonen fan or just any action fan. And I actually think this is a seinen, so it could appeal to a lot of people. And it also has a lot of comedy elements, so it just adds a lot to the story. I just think that there's just so much in this manga to be enjoyed, and I think most people can find enjoyment in it because I just think it's super good. Last but not least, we have Slam Dunk, and this is probably my favorite shonen manga, or at least Shonen Jump manga that I've read so far, and this was just such a good read. I enjoyed all 31 volumes. It is just such a ride, and I just enjoyed it so much. One of the most enjoyable reads. It is just amazing. The action is drawn so well. It's just a whole different level than other sports mangas that I've experienced. I just think, personally, if you like Haikyuu, then you gotta read Slam Dunk, because I think that Slam Dunk is Haikyuu, but better, because Haikyuu, as I see, was heavily influenced from Slam Dunk. I think that the action in some of the games is better than a lot of shonen fights. It just gets so intense, and you just feel on the edge of your seat the whole time during these games, especially the last volume. It has a ton of humor. The characters are funny. The characters are likable. It's just such a fun read. I think that, like, especially if you like sports series, you should read this, but I think, like, everybody should read this, or at least give it a shot. It's really funny, really good. It's just amazing. Again, thank you NixoTypicaL for letting me hop on the collab, inviting me, and I think that these 3 shonen manga are shonen manga that you should definitely check out, or just at least give a try, because in my opinion, they're very great.
Konnichiwa everyone, here are 3 top shonen titles that I've recently been hooked onto, and I want to recommend them to you. First up on the list is Spy Family. Now, for anybody who enjoyed Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this is a title you should check out. We follow our main guy Twilight, who works as a spy. His latest mission requires him to create a fake family in order to get closer to his target. And so he got himself this really cute girl called Anya, and she's so adorable, guys. Anya is not just a typical girl, she has telepathic powers, so she can read everybody's mind. He also got himself a new wife, who's an assassin, by the way. These two do not know each other's jobs, because secret. However, Anya knows. So Anya is the only one that actually knows what's going around in this fake family. However, they slowly bonded and became a real family kind of thing. So this is something you should check out if you're into like something less actiony and more towards character development. Check this out. The next series is something that I've ordered a bunch of volumes for, and I'm just waiting for them to arrive, and I am so hooked onto this series. I read it digitally and I decided, yep, it has to go in my collection, and that is Welcome to the Ballroom. Welcome to the Ballroom is a sports manga about ballroom dancing. We follow high schooler Fujita, and he is somebody who is kind of like a wimp throughout his life. He just wants to lay low and doesn't want to cause any trouble, but one day he got, targeted by bullies, and when he's about to give in to them, this mysterious guy called Sengoku just suddenly showed up and beat up the bullies for him. And yeah, however, Fujita didn't know that he was standing in front of a ballroom poster, and Sengoku mistook Fujita as somebody who was interested in signing up for his ballroom dancing classes. So that's why he saved him. But Fujita decided that he doesn't want to be a wimp anymore. He wants to have some kind of motivation in his life. And so he just decided, you know what, let me just try out ballroom dancing. And he got really invested in it. And so did I. Anyone who enjoys Slam Dunk can probably enjoy this one as well, because both the protagonists started off with zero knowledge about the sport and grow and develop to like the sport. Following a protagonist who is like finding his own passion in life is always a really good story, so I highly recommend Welcome to the Ballroom. The last recommendation on my list is another sports manga, Cross Game. Anybody who has never tried the sports genre and find it maybe a bit overwhelming to go into one, especially if you do not like the sports, Cross Game is a very good starting point for beginners because the main focus isn't really on sports, it's about slice of life. So we follow the protagonist in his journey and how he grows up around the sport and all his different relationships with the people around him as well. The panels are super clean, easy to read. The art, the character designs are very simple, which is what I like. Now, the main timeline actually happens later on in the few chapters, but in volume 1, we focus on the characters in elementary school. And something happened, and we see how each character helps one another overcome their worries, their fears, and also support them for their life goals and their ambition for the future and stuff. So this is really sweet, really warm. It's easily one of the better slice of life stories in shonen that I've read so far. So yeah, those are my 3 recommendations for shonen. I hope that at least one of them will interest you guys, and look out for more recommendations. じゃあね, bye bye!
Yo, what's up guys, it's me Jake here, and I want to say a huge thank you for Nixo for having me on this video, but I'm going to be recommending you guys 3 shonen manga that I really enjoy, and I usually go for underground stuff, so you're going to see 2 series that are underground, a little bit underground, and one that's not underground at all. I'm going to start off with the one that's not underground at all, because why not? Kaiju number 8. I recently made a video on it. It's great. I think you guys would also really enjoy it. Only has like 26, 27 chapters out as of recording this video, and it's amazing. I think that Kaiju number 8 has the potential of being one of the best things out there right now, and yeah, to get into a little bit of a synopsis, we follow our protagonist of Kafka Hibono, and he is a 32-year-old man working at the Kaiju Cleaning Corp, but he dreamed as a kid to become a Defense Force agent with his friend Mina and become the best. But as Mina is currently sitting on the top of the Defense Force, Kafka, 32, is doing the complete opposite, and he gave up on his dream. Until a new rookie inside the cleaning squad of Kaiju shows up named Ichiwaka. Now this rookie wants to become a Defense Force agent as well, and he kind of pushes Kafka to also want to become a Defense Force agent again. But during this, Kafka gets the ability to transform into a Kaiju. Now not one of those huge Kaijus, but just like a humanoid-sized Kaiju that is very strong. It's one of the strongest Kaiju out there. And we see as how he got that ability, what is going on, and him trying to hide it. Because once he gets into the Defense Force, he doesn't want to be found out, because you don't know if they're going to kill him, experiment on him, or do anything in their power to try to recreate this so that he can just eliminate Kaiju and basically just use Kafka for their own good. And seeing this development is great, and Kafka and the art are amazing. I think it's just such a well-written story. So if you really do like shonens and mystery, definitely check out Kaiju number 8, because it's definitely an amazing kind of mystery, kind of battle shonen, and I think it definitely is up a lot of people's alley, and it is straight fire. That's all I gotta say for that one. Now the next one I'm recommending, I'm currently on volume 5, and I've been really enjoying it. It's 18 volumes, and that is Moyo and Roji. Now, no one probably really hears about this series because it was from 2008 and not really a big shonen, but it's really fun. I think it gives me a lot of Mob Psycho kind of vibes, but at the same time it doesn't. And I think that how it goes about its story is really fun. So for a little bit of synopsis, we follow Roji as he's trying to become a supernatural investigator. Now, the thing about this is he is the lowest tier, he is a second clerkman, and his teacher is the youngest ever executioner, who is the top tier. And he's trying to learn from Moyo and try to get better to become an executor and also become one of the best supernatural investigators. And it's a really fun series as we see the different kind of ways to kill ghosts in the series and all the different laws that they have in the world that it's building. It's just a really fun series. It's not trying to be anything amazing, it's just fun. And that's what I really like when it comes to shonen, is when it's not trying for greatness, it just is great because it's fun. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people need to kind of install in their brains, is because not everything needs to be a masterpiece. Some things you can just read for fun, and I think Moyo and Roji is something that's definitely one of those, and I definitely think it's great, so I definitely recommend it. So yeah, on to the next one. And my last one, I currently just made another video on it. I know, I'm basically self-promoting this a lot, but Kemono-jihen. It is amazing from what I've read so far. I'm currently on volume 5, and I think it is it's so good. I think it's like an 8.5 right now, if not more. And I think it's just such a fun series. It's not like Moyo and Roji where it's just trying to be fun. It definitely has high expectations, but it really delivers on most of them, and it just is fun and great because of that. And I think the characters and the story is great. So for a synopsis, we follow our main characters, Kabane, in this world of humans and monsters called kimonos. And basically, in this world, kimonos are trying to get closer. Well, not trying, but they are just getting closer to humans. And when they do, they're even having kids with them nowadays, which is making these half-human, half-kimono hybrids, making them look like humans but have the abilities of kimonos. We follow Kabane, our main character, as he is kind of a half-human, half-kimono. I'm not going to spoil what he is because it's really cool. I kind of spoiled it in my video, so I'm sorry about that if you watch mine, but it's cool. And we follow him as he joins Inugami and his detective agency of kimonos, and we follow him solving cases with Shiki, Akira, Inugami, and even Mihai. Even though Mihai doesn't really go on them, he kind of just sits in his room and plays video games, but I think that is great. I think that you should definitely check out Kemono-jihen. The art and story are great. I think the art, it does remind me of My Hero when it comes to like the crying panels and the really dramatic panels, but it's really just fun. I think it is just really great. I don't have much else to say, even though I know I said it's really great a lot, so I'm just going to stop saying that. Hope you guys enjoyed this though, and I want to say another huge thank you for Nixo for having me on this video, and yeah.
Hello, I'm Captain Manga, and today I'm here to recommend you 3 shonen series that I think you'll enjoy. Thanks for inviting me on here. It's a pleasure, and I can't wait to recommend you some series. So without further ado, let's just get right into this. So without further ado, the first shonen series I'm going to recommend is quite a well-known one, but it is amazing, and that is The Promise Neverland. This is the 5th volume, and because it's just one of my favourite covers out of the whole series. But it's a great series, awesome art, awesome story. I'll explain the story in a minute, but it's a really good story, and I really enjoy it, and I think you should check it out. Pretty much it's about these orphans, and they live in an orphanage, or what they think is an orphanage, until they discover that they're actually, they are the meat in a farm, pretty much. And it takes a really dark turn. It seems really wholesome at first, but yeah, it takes a really dark turn. And yeah, they find out that they're the meat in an orphanage, and like demons are they are the food for demons, essentially, just like how they're like pigs in a farm for humans. It's crazy, and the plot is insane. Awesome character cast. I really like the art in this series. It's great, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes mystery-esque series. The next series I'm going to recommend is a series I'm a pretty big fan of, and I know lots of other people are, and that is Chainsaw Man. This series is great. It has amazing characters, amazing story, all that stuff. So pretty much, it's about this guy called Denji. He's pretty poor, and he has a pet demon, which is like a chainsaw dog thing. And they live in a world where demons exist, so for his job he hunts down and kills demons, but then he ends up getting into a bit of a situation which I'm not going to go into too much depth about because spoilers, but he ends up getting into a bit of a situation, and then his dog ends up having to sacrifice itself for him, and he ends up turning into this monster you can see on the front, Chainsaw Man. Overall, it's a really good series. Definitely the darker side of shonen, though. I think one of the chapters actually got taken down because, let's just say, it didn't really follow the shonen rules. But yeah, it's a really good series. Unfortunately, it did have some of the endings spoiled. But yeah, it's a really good series, and I can't wait to pick up more. The final series I want to recommend, sorry about that, is a series I only recently picked up, but I'm really loving so far already. I've watched, I'm up to date with the anime, and that is Attack on Titan. I picked up Season 1 Part 1 box set, and I'm on Volume 4 already, and it is great. So, I've got Season 1 Part 2 arriving within the next couple of weeks, so I'm super excited about that. But, the Attack on Titan plot, is crazy, so... I'm just gonna, the initial plot, I'm not gonna say why it's the initial plot or anything like that, is pretty much, this humanity lives inside walls, and they, to be protected from these massive beasts called Titans, and one day, these Titans end up breaking down this wall, and, stuff happens, and the main character, Aaron's mum, ends up getting killed when this happens, and Aaron devotes himself to kill every single Titan on Earth. It's crazy, but it's an amazing series. I'm completely up to date with the anime right now. It's getting even more crazy, but the manga is just, it's insane. The art starts off kind of meh, but it does get better as it goes along. But yeah, it's a really good series, and I would recommend it to anyone that likes, like, super, like, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain this series. It's got a mix of everything, you know. It's got mystery, it's got, you know, battle, it's got all that stuff. It's crazy. It's an amazing series, and definitely pick up Attack on Titan if you haven't already. So that was my 3 shonen recommendations. Once again, thank you for NixoTypicaL for inviting me on. I hope I inspired you to pick up some of those series. But yeah, I'm Captain Manga, and bye.
Now, first off, I'd like to recommend to you guys this awesome manga. It is A Silent Voice. Now, a lot of you might not know, but A Silent Voice actually is a shonen. Although its storytelling and the story that it actually isn't like a generic shonen story. It actually follows a lot of shonen like tropes that aren't very well known, but it still fits in the shonen demographic. If you want to pick it up, it does come in this awesome little box set. All 7 volumes are in here. This is how I picked it up, and it comes with these little extras like the communication notebook, which has a chapter from one of the mangaka's other series, and a few little cool notes from inside the manga. It also comes with a poster. I'll put that on screen now. And yeah, it's just a beautiful story about like redemption and the effects of bullying in schools. Beautiful, beautiful story. Would recommend it to everyone who's into that sort of stuff, or who wants like a bit of more of a deep and meaningful read rather than just an action shonen that doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's my first recommendation. The next recommendation that I have for you guys is Fullmetal Alchemist in these Fullmetal editions. Now, Fullmetal Alchemist is one of my favourite shonen series, purely because the artwork and the story is amazing. The mangaka did an amazing job at making this an awesome story. This volume specifically, in the Fullmetal edition, is such high quality. Even if it's not a good story, it's good to have it. Like, it's very good quality. This hardcover, it's way better than the Vinland Saga hardcovers, and the paper quality is amazing. It's like photo stock paper, like really, really good paper, like a bit plasticky sort of thing. Very good with color pages as well. But pretty much, this is just like a sort of well thought out story that has action, adventure elements added into it, with awesome characters like Edward and Alphonse Elric. Those 2 are the protagonists. They're awesome. Pretty much just alchemists doing what they do. You'll figure it out if you get into it. It's a very interesting story, very deep storytelling. There's a lot of actual like amazing ways that the mangaka's given deep and meaningful messages in the story. So definitely check this out and look for those. It's a very impactful read, in my opinion. I'm sure if you've been on my channel before, you'll know this manga that I'm recommending, and it is Haikyuu. Just an amazing series. Like, this series to me is the perfect sports manga, in my opinion, so don't light me up in the comments about Slam Dunk being better or anything. But this series is awesome. It is what got me into manga. Just the way the story's written is amazing as well. Shoyo Hinata and Tobio Kageyama are two of my favourite characters in manga. Just their relationship is interesting. I like how they bounce off each other well. All the backup, like, side characters and just the main characters in everyone that's in this series is amazing. They all have a part to play. They're all very well thought out, very well explained. They all have a backstory. They get time to be developed. Even if you don't see them again, you still learn a lot about the characters in a single volume. The pacing's very good. It has a high quality anime as well. Same with the other two series I've recommended. So if you do like the manga, there is other ways of, like, viewing this. But yeah, just an amazing series. Very good sports manga, very good action manga. Just a good shonen manga in general. It has ended. It'll be like 45 volumes, so it is a little bit of a big commitment. But you can read it digitally on the Shonen Jump app if you can't afford to purchase all of the volumes, like I'm planning to do, as I'm already at volume 26, which is about halfway through the series.